Alright, first step in starting the perspective project is to establish our document. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go to File, New. Our document size is going to be similar to what we've used all year. Again, main reason we've been using letter, a lot of you as you finish things like printing them, so we are making it the size of a sheet of computer paper so that it'll print out nicely. Another thing we are going to do is we are going to make sure that we're in landscape so that our width is 11, height is 8.5. Again, for size I went to letter. I'm going to call this like city perspective, something along those lines. So once I'm happy with this, I can go ahead and hit OK. So here's my blank sheet of paper, and now I'm ready to create some buildings for my project. Now if you notice on the side here, I've already done a couple of these. I'll go ahead and show you how to do one more of these. So basically where we're going to start is I'm going to make an outline of a building. Not too concerned about size or anything yet. We can always mess with that later. The other thing I needed to consider in the beginning was what color I was going to use. I went with blue. You can pick any color you'd like. I want to make sure that I pick, right now, 2 shades of whatever color I pick. I want a light and I want a dark. So I did blue, I have this light blue that I have saved here, and then I have this dark blue that I have saved here. So now that I have this outline of my building, I am ready to add some windows to this thing. So I'm going to create just one window. And I'm not going like super detailed with this, but you could, because we're only going to make that one window. After we make the one, we're just going to continue copying it. So first thing, I want this to have contrast with the background, so for this one I'm going to pick that opposite color, that light color. Now I'm going to go ahead and just kind of like play around with this thing a little bit, maybe zoom in a bit so I can see what I'm doing a little better. And I'm going to place that one and just kind of play around with it a bit, get it kind of looking how I want it to be for this particular building. Something along those lines. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this window. So to do that, I'm just still using my selection tool, I'm holding Option, and I'm just dragging these over. Now I'm not concerned about the spacing between them. I'm just overall looking at how many of these that I have and thinking, you know, what do I want this thing to look like when I'm done. Next, I'm going to select all of these windows. And to do this, I'm going to show you a different way to do this than what we've done so far this year. This will be helpful because right now I could hold Shift and click on all these. That's easy enough when there's only 6 of them in this case. But if I had a building full of windows and I want to change it, and I want to then go back and change it again and again and again, it's going to get annoying to have to select, say, like 40 of these things. So what I'm going to do instead is if I select one of my windows and I go to Select at the top, one of the options is Same. Now from here on out, you just kind of got to use some thought. Well, if I pick Same Fill Color or Fill End Stroke, either one, the only things it's going to select are the things that are light blue because they're the only things that share that fill color. So all of my windows are that color and nothing else is. So in this case, again, I can use either of these. So I have all of those selected very quickly like that. Again, it's nice for selecting 6 things. It's going to be even better when you're doing a whole big list of things. The next thing I want to do is I want to space these evenly. Well, rather than move them all and then decide, oh, you know what, I want one less window than that. Now I have to move them all again, and I'm kind of eyeballing them, and it's not perfect. There's a much easier way. When you have them selected, at the bar at the top, there's a lot of different options up here, these little options. These are alignment options. These are distribution options. So distribution meaning like how do you want these things spaced out. So I'm going to distribute those this way, horizontal distribute center. Now if I would have picked horizontal distribute left or right, it would have worked no matter what because these are all the same shape. If these were different sizes, then the center one maybe would be important. So anyway, now that I have that, the other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that the top of these are lined up. Now they should be because I saw those green lines as I was going and I kind of know that I was moving straight sideways. But to confirm that, I can make sure that they are all aligned on the top. Now I know that those are evenly spaced. I'm going to go ahead and group those now. So now I'm set, those are there. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to just make more copies of these. Again, I'm not too worried about these lining up right now. I'm just throwing them up there real quick. So there they are. Now what I'm going to do is select all of these. So again, same thing. Select, same, and I am going to do, again, fill and stroke or fill, either one. I'm going to do align. So now they're all in a nice straight line. And this time I need to do it vertically. So now they're all distributed. So it's that fast. I know they're all even. Well, if I'm looking at that, I'm like, you know what, this space is bigger than the space in between these, and I don't like that. I can then go back and kind of like just move each of these some and repeat that process. And again, they're not perfect right now, and that's okay. And you know what, maybe I'll even add one more now that I have this space down here. So now I'm going to repeat that same process. Select, same, fill color, and I'm going to go back and do my alignment. Oops. I want to do horizontal. That's why I kind of messed up there. There we go. Now they're all lined up, and I want to distribute those centered. There we go. So if you play with those buttons, you'll make those mistakes, but you can also kind of correct those things quickly. Alright, so there is my building. Next thing I want to do is select this entire building, group it, and then I want to copy this whole thing. Because for each building, what we want to do is we want to make the opposite. So now that I have a copy of this, I can kind of go ahead and make one of these into what's called a symbol, and then the other one I'll flip-flop the colors, and then I'll make it a symbol. So another thing you may have noticed on here is all of these, before I make it a symbol, have no stroke. So I have every single object here selected, the dark blue and the light blues, and all of them have no stroke. If at this point you have a stroke, if you have this whole thing grouped together, when you click on this, just set the stroke to be none, and that'll take care of that. So anyway, now that this one's ready, I'm going to go to my symbols window. So it's window, symbols, or this is the little icon if you happen to have that on your screen. So I open up my symbols window, and what I'm going to do is go ahead and drag this whole group into my symbols and drop it. It asks me for a name. I'm going to call this building, in my case 3, and I'm going to call this one dark. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete that. If you notice, it's still saved over here in the symbols. Now on these, I'm going to go ahead and take this one and flip-flop the colors. So again, to do this quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to double-click. That gets me in isolation mode. I'm going to click on one of the light colors, go to select same fill color. I have all the light blue, and I want to switch that over to my dark color. Oops, I'm sorry, I did that on the stroke, so I got to be careful with that. I'm going to do that again and pick the dark one. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and take this one and make it the light color. And there we go, now I'm all set. And again, the reason I went into isolation mode, where I double clicked on this thing, is because it's grouped together. It's just a quick way of being able to select pieces of it. So now I'm going to go ahead and click elsewhere, double clicked, I'm out of that isolation mode. Now I can go back to my symbols window and drag this one in. And this is going to be, in my case, building 3 light. So that is, and again, you can make buildings with circular windows, you can do more details than I did, you can put doors, you can do whatever you'd like. You're just making 2 copies of them, one light, one dark, you're using one color, no strokes on these things, and that will create kind of this effect here. And we're just saving all of these things into our symbols window, and this is going to be our project, so make sure that you save this document. If you do not save this document, these symbols will not be in another document, they only exist in this one document. So, good luck.